The shift from thinking to feeling. A change. No, not just a change. A fundamental shift. How am I ever to articulate the transition from who I was to who I am to becoming who I'm meant to be? How can anyone, for that matter? Is not the culmination of these transitions called life? And how do we really know ourselves anyway? Are we what we think, how we feel, what we do, or some baffling combination of the three? And so my analytical mind has obviously not left me. But I choose to reflect the significant shift I've experienced over the last 15 months by changing over to a new blog because the articles are about to go away from hard science into a universe where everything and anything is possible, where we begin to explore the staggeringly complicated interactions between all that resides within the human complex: mind, body, and spirit. Why? Well, because undertaking this adventure has somehow morphed me from chronic people pleaser, anxiety-ridden rageaholic, control freak extraordinaire, dry drunk, starving myself into senility due to an unhealthy relationship with fear and food, confused cyclone of once suppressed emotions, to the healing mess of a compost heap that I am now, and whom I love dearly. So many times throughout my life, I had no idea who I was or who I wanted to be. I was a tumbleweed, blown about by the wind of other people's emotions. An insecure young gypsy without boundaries or self-worth, and also no idea how to keep myself grounded. My inner compass spinning wildly as if stationed within the Bermuda Triangle. But I'm getting ahead of myself, as I do. I started Analytical Ramblings of a Scientific Mind, my previous blog, because I threw myself into self-facilitated cognitive behavioral therapy, otherwise known as CBT, after the end of my first major relationship. I knew I needed a change if I was going to repair my life and have healthy connections with the world and the people in it. Well, guess what? My 15-month adventure began almost precisely the same way. Talk about embarrassing. What the fuck? Hadn't I learned? Hadn't I changed? Hadn't I already been through this bullshit? How the hell could I have allowed it to happen again? Ironically, my job as an instructor in lean manufacturing principles and effective problem solving leads me to the obvious conclusion. I had addressed the direct causes of my underlying issues, but not the root cause. The deeply seated cycles and patterns in my conditioned thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that made my life a Groundhog Day of what felt like life kicking me in the balls. Yes, I know I'm a female and I don't have balls, but it hurt like hell nonetheless. So how did I do it? What was this 15-month adventure? Well, I can only say it's something I would only ever recommend to those who want a challenge. Imagine juvenile detention for people with a high degree of awareness and emotional empathy, or perhaps a school of hard knocks for developing healers. Similarly, it was 2 parts magic and 1 part practicality. It was a combination of starting an epic journey facilitated by the Fool, reading books that spoke to my spirit and introduced me to awareness-expanding concepts, and undertaking the study of emotional intelligence through a series of leadership courses offered through my work. During this time, I made shocking discovery after shocking discovery about myself. Despite the high degree of self-awareness I've possessed since 3 years of age that I can remember, I understand fuck all about how I had started to use it as a club for self-shaming and blaming. I'm different in ways that most people can't understand, and I couldn't understand myself at the time either. My entire life, I used what was actually a suite of gifts as naughty sticks and reasons to punish and sabotage my own happiness time and again. It's been an absolute whirlwind of significant changes. Indeed, the person who is sitting down with my laptop now may look the same, but I am a completely different person. I've learned how to get out of my head and into my body, spirit, and emotions, living a more integrated and whole way of being, more balanced. Not to say I don't go over the edge from time to time still. The overall effect led to freedom to be myself without shame or punishment. Welcome to the reason I'm changing the focus of my blog. It's now about asking the tough questions, shining the light inwards to find the answers by expanding our awareness and turning the subconscious into the conscious, using our own innate internal power to do so. It's also about coming to terms with the fact that sometimes there are no answers, and we need to get on with life despite the uncomfortable void that leaves behind. Most importantly, it's about tackling that most elusive of self-development subjects, learning to love ourselves. Those phenomenally irritating Facebook memes and new age additives that are so simple to say, yet nearly impossible to feel for most of us. Constantly seeking externally what we cannot or will not provide for ourselves internally. The path to finding our authentic selves, which is not all sunshine and daisies. It takes serious courage and a genuine willingness to confront the nastiest parts of ourselves and show them some love. I write with aspirations of expanding the awareness of others using the same tools that have helped me. Relatable and meaningful stories, visualizations and analogies, and podcasts wherein I hold one-way and often comical conversations with myself. That expansion is only possible, however, when these concepts are read with an open mind and are processed and reflected upon, and by asking ourselves the meaningful questions. Why do I think that way? Why do I feel that way? Why do I do that? Go gently. For those who believe in Dharma and Karma, are open to exploring their own magic and patterns, are ready to step beyond the confines of their own mind and take a wider view of their lives, are tired of life's rat race and the repetitious cycles that seem to take the wind from our sails, stymie our inner passion and enthusiasm for life, then I offer what I have learned from going through the same experience. If assistance is needed to get started, I'm really good at calling people out on their own bullshit. Trust me, I've done it to myself heaps. Taking the leap into a healing space requires bravery. Remaining a victim is safe and gives us an excuse to maintain status quo and blame others for our own unhappiness. Again, go gently and only seek when you are ready to arrive.